All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Baker Reviews. If you're a first timer here on the channel, welcome to Baker Reviews. If you're just happen to be a massive Scream fan, saw the thumbnail and clicked, I get it.
Yeah, done it myself many times.
Right. Who's this talking about an awesome franchise? All right. So yeah, guys, today, me and if you listen to our podcast at all, if you're familiar with it, he has the little plug right there, CS Podcast 21.
That's right.
This is my brother in life, my brother from the same mother. We do a podcast together with our buddy Mike, Culture Shock Podcast. Most of you probably already know that, but yeah, so this will be my special guest today. Grew up with a lot of the same movies, of course, in the same household. So both, I think, fair to say, pretty massive Scream fans.
Absolutely.
So before we get into the fun, a few comments here. We want to make sure we always read them out. Porchman, Tristan, what's up, my buddy? That's one of my YouTube friends there. Thanks for joining me, buddy. Josie, only 31 minutes. Oh, this was during the countdown. Are you picking Ghostface nose?
Yeah, we're buddies. I'm just helping him out.
Okay, this is just the countdown here. All right. Well, everyone, thanks for. Damn, we had people commenting over an hour before the show started. Thanks, guys. All right. If you guys saw my first ever live stream here in Baker Reviews, then you know this person definitely. Steven, thanks for jumping in real quick, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. He said, by the way, just to save you guys some time, if you didn't see that one, Halloween Ends was Steven's #1 spoiler. So
it was. He loved it. It was weird.
He loves that movie.
Gosh,
I don't get it
so much. It was so weird.
Yeah, personally, I don't get it, but he loves that movie and he hates the Daredevil series.
He does.
He's been messaging me every day, like, dude, watch Daredevil.
I'm like, good. Yeah, it's very good.
I know. I've heard from everybody. It's amazing.
Fighting choreography on that show is unparalleled in Marvel shows. So,
but Steven says, I'm glad they're moving on from them. Not gonna lie, but it'll probably end up being worse. You mean you're glad they're getting away from the Carpenter sisters? I assume. Yeah, we'll get into that. Mike, there's our supporting co-host there. Mike says, gross. Steven, Halloween Kills is a close second. Yeah, guys, so it's Halloween Ends, Halloween Kills. Giving away his whole list here, but and then he says Daredevil is the GOAT. Steven, I'll watch it.
He's gonna redo his whole list
starting tomorrow.
He won't, Steve.
All right. He will. Yeah, they've tried to get me into so many things.
So many.
All right. So many. You got me on Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter.
True. Two big ones.
Yeah, guys. So today we are here talking about, it's no breaking news by this point. I think this happened a day or two before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Like the 21st, I believe. The bombshell came out. Spyglass Media Group decided to part ways with Melissa Barrera, who is obviously the final girl, the main actress of the new Scream series, her and Jen Ortega.
Yeah.
They completely dropped her for reasons that we're not really here to talk about. If you know my channel, if you listen to our podcast, you're not really here for our political takes. We're not here to say if they're right, if she's right, if it's, equal parts. We're just kind of here to talk about Scream a little bit and the state of it going forward.
I will tell you that a full firing and getting rid of her was probably unnecessary. Maybe give it some time to see how this all reacted with people. Maybe give it a minute. They didn't really give it any time at all. They just got rid of her right away.
Yeah, and that's something we'll get into. Like, there's so many. Real quick, Mike says, "Isn't this that YouTube channel that has awful reviews?" Hey,
true.
This is that YouTube channel that has awful reviews like once every 6 months. Okay.
I mean, it mostly gets all the bad reviews from that Mike and guy. Yeah, not sure who he is, but
where else are you going to get a YouTube channel where you get one review every 5 months? That's pretty special.
True. It is great.
Yeah, Tristan, I totally agree. Yes, he says no politics.
First rule we made when we started the podcast: we're not doing politics and religion.
Yeah, absolutely. That is not what we're here for tonight. We're just here to have a little fun and talk about we're just where we see things going, where we want to see things go.
Yeah.
So if anybody here did see my reviews for the Spyglass era of Scream movies, didn't like Melissa Barrera's acting very much at all, like a lot of people in Scream 5. I had an issue with that. I think personally she got significantly better in Scream 6.
Yeah, she did.
They definitely gave it.
Hater in 5. I'm actually probably of the minority that really, really enjoyed 5 and all the characters in it. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, she got a lot better in 6. That's why this sucks a little bit more because I was actually starting to get invested in the Carpenter sisters.
yeah,
I really do like the core 4. I know that's kind of a split thing for like longtime Scream fans. I think I like every member in there.
yeah. I mean, a couple of them have their downs that it's
Yeah.
okay that they're missing. But yeah, like Gail Weathers is mostly the one that I have a bit of an issue with. She's kind of always in the way. She
Yeah. Well,
usually helps figure things out, but she's kind of always in the way and causing problems for Dewey, who rest in peace. But
yeah. Well, and she always kind of like Gail. I don't think she was necessary in Scream 6. I think she probably could have
yeah,
like you.
no,
This was probably your chance. Before hindsight, we knew that this whole Melissa Barrera thing would happen. I think that Scream 6 was really your chance to pass the torch, like literally, and not have any legacy characters in it and just be the new
yes,
kids.
it's what I
Like
was hoping for.
You got rid of Sydney, unfortunately, for reasons we'll talk about. But Nev Campbell didn't come back. Of course, Dewey, rest in peace. Right after David Arquette gave his best performance as Dewey.
I know, most believable, down on his luck ex
Yeah,
sheriff. He was
I was
so
like,
good.
what happened for David Arquette between his early 40s and now? Because he's such a better actor.
I want to address what your buddy, the Porch Man, just said.
Oh, this one.
Yeah,
I remember watching Scream 4 with my dad back in 2011. What were your guys' opinion on it?
I love Scream 4. It's up there in the top. I mean, I 50%. There's only 6 movies, but it's up there in the top. It's not in the 50%, but I do love that movie. There's
Well,
actually only one that I have a huge problem with, honestly.
well, he says it's actually not in the top 50%.
Now that I think
But
about it, there's only 6 movies,
But here's the
not
thing, though,
50%.
like, when you talk about the Scream franchise, I don't know if you feel the same way, but among, like, the big hitters, like Halloween, Friday, Child's Play, Nightmare, I think Scream is consistently the best quality.
Yeah, I do too. Because me personally, as a huge Child's Play fan, I even like the campy ones. Scream's still consistently an actual slasher movie, not just goofy comedy thrown into a scary movie. It's consistently creepy and scary, and I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, and Tristan, for my answer, when Scream 6 first came out, I had the rose-colored goggles because I just rose-tinted glasses because I just saw it in theater, so I thought it was above Scream 4 for me. After some thought, it did drop down, so for me, it's, like, still Scream, Scream 2, and then, Scream 4, then Scream 6. So, yeah, it's not in my top half either, but when we're talking about Scream movies, even the ones I don't like as much, they all work for me, like, on
Yeah.
some level. It's not like there's a bad Scream movie, it's like there's just less good ones.
There's just one that's a bit of a problem that if it didn't exist, that I wouldn't care.
Scream 3.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of retconning issues and Ghostface issues in that movie.
Yes.
Steven says Scream 4, my third favorite of the franchise. It's slept on. That same ranking for me. No. I have it. Yeah, I do have it at 3. Yeah. So
So it is
same
in your
ranking.
top 50%.
It is. Yeah, surprise, surprise. Me and Steven share a horror opinion.
Yeah, he was on that episode talking about the Scream franchise with the Friday 13th and the Halloween, and he hates Scream. It was well established. He hates all of them. So
He hates them, every single one of
every
them.
one of them, especially the first one.
He thinks it's the worst franchise that's ever come out.
It's unbelievable.
He'd rather watch the Star Wars sequels? I don't know if that's an actual joke.
Yeah,
I
I have no
actually
idea.
I actually don't know how he feels about this. And then Josie says it's definitely in the top 5. What, Scream 4? Definitely in the top 5, that's fair. I think even Scream fans most Scream fans would say even if 4 didn't work for them, it's probably still better than 3. I think 3 is the universally looked down on.
I rarely see anybody have it above the last spot. Maybe some people really hate on that Scream 5/Scream, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
Steven put Scream 3 above Scream 5, didn't he?
He
think he
might
did.
have.
Yeah.
A lot of people really hate on that movie, but I don't think it's as bad as everybody says it is. It was a weak start to the new characters. Yeah, and when they put the legacy characters in there, like Sydney and all them, they kind of felt like they didn't need to be there at all. There was no reason for it. I
Right.
get why Sydney was there to pass the torch, like you said, but she kind of didn't really. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, she was reserved letting these girls even be part of anything.
Well, yeah,
So
that it was kind of weird. It was like a mixed message in the movie
it was.
because it literally was like literally in their dialogue they talk about a proverbial passing of the torch,
Yeah.
but then like they didn't really follow through with it.
No, they did not.
They brought Gail back. They wanted to bring Sydney back, but they didn't pay Nev, so they didn't really. It's like they weren't. It's like they didn't have the guts to stick with it. Like, yeah, we're truly moving on.
That's what I feel like it was. They didn't know, because if this didn't work, they were gonna have to go back to legacy characters and
Yeah,
like wipe that slate clean, or maybe kill those two characters at the beginning of the next one. But it did work, so Scream 6 ended up focusing on those characters, and I think it was better than maybe better than the 5.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, Scream 6 is the most successful sequel in the entire trilogy.
Even though I
So if I,
think 2 is really good.
oh, well, I mean, as far as quality of the movie, I enjoy 2 way more. But like financially, 6 is the most
Oh, well,
successful
yeah.
sequel. Yeah,
It definitely made a lot of money. Which
which
is why they're
everyone,
running around like a crazy person right now with these 2 actresses not being part of it. I'd always rather play Thumbass, Steven.
Star
Always.
Wars sequels, I'd
Always.
rather play Thumbass.
But
Steven,
not
don't be
but not above the Star Wars sequels. I love them. So
Steven, just don't be a fat cunt.
like me.
Scream 6, big improvement from 5 for me. Clearly been known. Clearly done been known. Yeah, if you want Steven's opinion on all the Scream movies, check out our very brief, short live stream we did last month.
Very short.
It's like the length of a Lord of the Rings extended movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, so basically just to start this off, everyone by now, the whole Melissa Brera incident, she was let go. The big bombshell that dropped the day after that is that Jenna Ortega was no longer associated with Scream. They parted ways. That's kind of a weird thing we'll get into later because there's a lot of conflicting,
I have a theory
there's
on that too.
yeah, there's reports that she's been out for months. There was never actually a deal in place in the first place. She's out because she wanted more money. She's out because there's scheduling conflicts with Wednesday.
Which I
There's a
think
lot
is
of
just which I think is just them trying to save face because she left, honestly. But we can get into that a little bit later. But I think that's all bullshit.
yeah, seems like a really strange coincidence on the timing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so between Melissa, between Jenna, and what happened with Nev last year, you got to say, regardless of the success of Scream 6 or whatever, it's been a pretty rough 18 months as far as the PR department for Spyglass.
Yeah.
They've taken some hits. A lot of bad looks for diehard Scream fans. Like, now, to give them credit, I like what they've done with this franchise more than what David Gordon Green ended up doing with the new Halloween trilogy. I
Yeah.
think Spyglass has done a better job, like honoring the source material and making 2 Scream feeling movies.
Yes. Very much.
So I'll give them kudos there, but man, it doesn't matter how good your movies are if it comes out that you're just shitty people to work for.
True.
Nev felt like she was being underpaid for her value to the movie. And I mean, she probably is to most people the best final girl of all time.
And she absolutely should have got that cash. She got that should have got that paper. They should have paid her. But
And the thing is, they're not like, and to us, it's a lot of money. But in terms of Hollywood, what this guy, his name is Gary Barber. He works for Spyglass, and he's notorious for being cheap as hell.
yeah.
So, and they've come out, people have come out and said that he made the statement since losing Jenna, well, we didn't need Nev and we don't need Jenna. And that's, oh man, that's a bad look.
Which is exactly why I think it's all bullshit. She asked for more money. I don't think that happened.
Right.
From what I've read about Jenna Ortega, she's very open to everything. She's willing to do whatever. She's a team player. I've seen many videos of her just, working with people and helping people. I really doubt that she was like, fine, if you ain't gonna give me my money, I ain't gonna be part of this huge franchise. I really doubt it.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I could even see her asking for more money, but that's because it is
Standard.
shocking. Yeah, it's shocking how little they made in these movies.
Yeah.
Like, all Jenna Ortega was pushing for is literally 7 figures. She was making less than $1 million a movie. And as far as
Yeah.
Hollywood,
And,
that's
yeah.
not any money at all.
That's boilerplate for actress, like especially since that Scream 5 came out, she has shot up. She's
Oh,
huge
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And what they gave her for Wednesday, which I believe was more than even that Scream movie, and now what she's making on the Ghostbusters, well, what she's
Beetlejuice too.
making on Beetlejuice 2, of course she may have asked for the boilerplate over $1 million, yes,
Over one,
because that's all
and
she wanted.
and if that is the case, that's still a bad look for the studio because they won't give her 7 figures. Like, she's not asking for $30 million. She's like,
No, she didn't ask for a record amount for an actress in a movie. She just wanted a little more
no.
money.
Yeah, it's really like I know it's all relative, like to you and me and everybody listening, $1 million. It's like, is she really complaining about 1 million? It's like, yeah, but for
It's
an
not.
actor that for what that
pe-
movie's gonna make, like over 100 million easy, that
People
ain't
don't
shit.
understand. Like being an actor, actress isn't just you go in for a couple hours a day and you're pampered with fans on you and people feeding you. You're
Right.
working 16-hour days, sometimes 7 days a week for months. That is
Yeah.
hard fucking work. Acting is not as easy as everybody makes it sound. That is rough work. And then when you think about the fact she didn't even make $1 million, she has to pay her agent all of her agency. She has to pay all of her fees, all of the extras that go out to other things. She was probably making half of that. So she's barely making triple figures. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, not even like to sound arrogant on her behalf, but her coming back for that kind of payday would be her doing them a favor.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. If they offered her $1.1 million and she said okay, they got a steal. Jenna Ortega's
yeah.
a megastar right now, and
Yeah.
she's probably going to stay that way. She's a great actress, so
Yeah, you kind of want someone like that in your movie, not
yeah,
going against your movie.
yeah, exactly. You don't want it coming out that she was actually against you because you didn't pay her. That's a really bad look for you.
Yeah, especially after you did the same thing a year ago to the star of this franchise.
The person everybody loves from these movies.
Right. Which, you know, so speaking of that though, if Scream 7 still happens, which, it probably will.
It probably will.
Do you think, where do you think we are right now? Like, what's the aftermath of this? Do you think people boycott this, or is it a case if they get Nev Campbell back, there's a chance at saving face, making money?
Here's my theory,
Do they
and
have any chance of getting Nev Campbell back?
I don't think so, but they have two choices here, in my opinion. One, a complete whole reboot. You restart Scream, you make them look a
Yeah,
little different, that it doesn't piss people off, and you bring in new teenagers and a new final girl. You find a new final girl, which they're obviously not going to pay their people anyway, so this is just going to happen again in 3 movies. But you either reboot it or you figure out how to bring Nev Campbell back and you make Stu still alive. Only
yep.
way to save it. You bring Stu back because that's what the fans want. That's the
Oh, for
only way. Only way. Especially now that Dewey's dead, and he's probably, I don't think he's coming back. He's escaped death a bunch of times, but I'm pretty sure he was dead. So I think
yeah, that
you're out that option.
right. Yeah, dude's got 9 lives. Yeah, but so I mean, it's just the reality of the situation the way it is. If they did somehow get Nev Campbell back, that would, make up for a lot of things. A lot of fans would forgive them because they want to see Nev back.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
does it feel a little? Would it feel a little grimy because that was never their intention? It's just like out of desperation. I think so.
Yes.
Like,
No matter what they do to try and save this franchise, specifically this timeline, it's going to feel like desperate. It's going to feel desperate.
it is, yeah, because like Scream's gonna make its money, but I guarantee you, unless a big announcement comes out, Scream 7 is not gonna make near the money that Scream 6 did. I guarantee it.
No.
Unless it's like an opening weekend thing where people are so morbidly curious to see what this thing's gonna be. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, okay.
we will get into the different story ideas. You did say a couple good ones that we'll talk about though. Um, So yeah, you got to get Nev Campbell back on board if that's even an option. I think that would probably be the most safe play as far as making your money. And I think that's pretty cool. I think it works out the way that if you get Sydney and Mark and you focus on them with their kids,
Yeah,
Ghostface coming
that's a
after
good
her
idea.
family, that's something that's we
I
haven't
don't hate
seen
that.
Sydney with a family. Yeah, that could add some tension. That could add some, some of the dramatics.
That's true. Ghostface travel to her and just leave everybody else behind and just have it focus on Nev and her new group of friends wherever she's living.
Yeah. And
Yeah, that could work.
there are some people that are like, okay, but it's turning into Laurie Strode and Michael. Like, we don't want to keep seeing Nev. And I get that. But for some reason, Scream is a franchise. I always want to see Sydney.
The problem with that is Michael Myers was one specific man. Ghostface is always somebody different that has a vendetta. So
Yeah.
even if you kill Ghostface, which they have every movie basically, he's gonna keep coming back. So there's really no way to kill this franchise till Sydney dies. And then in which case Ghostface is just gonna find somebody else to torment. So then it's just
Yeah.
a reboot anyway, really.
Yeah. And the continued Sydney thing does make sense because as each like new killer comes into the picture, Sydney would be a big motivation for many different reasons.
Yeah.
You'd be famous if your name was attached to her. Like, you want to be around her. If you want to be infamous, you go after her. If you want to be famous, you go after her. It makes sense.
Which has been the motivation in a couple of these movies.
And a lot of them. And sometimes it's her brother out of nowhere.
Fucking Roman. Uh
Porchman says, "What I would like to see is Nev Campbell's family around for the holiday."
yeah,
And
there you go.
Ghostface is messing with her family, going after her family. See, I like that, man.
That doesn't I don't hate that.
And Stu is the one going after Sidney Prescott family.
That
So it
which is exactly what I mean. Like Stu would make you can't bring Stu back without Nev Campbell being part of it.
so would you want to see
Stu is not going to want revenge on anybody else. Everybody else is gone.
so would you want to see Stu as like a Ghostface or as like a more of like a puppet master in this one?
I would want Stu to be a puppet master. Like maybe he's I don't want to say too weak because that gives off Halloween Ends vibes for Michael, but like Stu knows that
I'm
he's
getting
supposed to be
woozy here,
I'm
man.
getting woozy.
That's
Stu
Michael.
knows he's supposed to be dead,
Yeah.
so like he's hiding behind the scenes, and kind of like they did with Roman, where they kind of made Roman like the original Ghostface, kind of where he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
orchestrating Billy and Stu in the first place. Have Stu be that character now that's in the background. Maybe I don't know that they can incorporate him in the movie at any point because everybody's going to go into it looking for Matthew Lillard. So
Oh,
you can't just put
100%.
prosthetics on him and be like, I think that's Matt. Everybody's going to look. So he
Yeah,
needs to be in the background till the end.
you can't do like a prestige thing here and make him
I
a side character with
no, I
makeup
really don't think so. You
and a
put
fat
anybody
suit.
in there with like a beard and a fat suit, we're all going to know who it is immediately.
That's probably what everyone said back when the Prestige came out.
Yeah, but
Oh, if you put Christian Bale in a fat suit.
But Prestige was a single movie you didn't know you were looking for that. People have been looking for Stu since Scream 1 ended.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
I went into Scream 5 100% convinced Stu was going to be in that. I was
Yeah.
in theaters. I don't even know if I enjoyed the movie because the whole time I was like, is that Stu?
They go back to Stu's house at the end of Scream
Yeah,
5. Like,
exactly. Like it ends where it all began. So,
and I honestly think Scream 6 may have laid some breadcrumbs for Stu's return for 7.
it did,
That's what kind of
and
hurts too.
which yeah, that does suck because like that could end up being a concluded ending. That could end up being a
Yeah.
cliffhanger for all of us
One of
fans.
one of the biggest what ifs. But
And,
there
I
was
mean,
oh,
they could still reboot it and have Stu be the orchestrator and like have Ghostface be in a different town altogether. Have this
yeah.
happening again. Have people subtly mention that this all happened somewhere else, but not
Yeah.
talk about it too much. And then have Stu be the orchestrator behind it. And like, oh, of course, the Ghostface came here because that's where Stu's hiding.
Yeah,
So they
that's
could
true.
do that.
Or maybe Scream's never really done the Halloween retcon thing. They could do like a Scream 7 and make nothing count except the first movie. And then like 20 years, 30 years later, Stu comes
Yeah.
back.
And then they could bring back Laurie Metcalf as Mrs. Loomis.
See?
That'd be
Everyone's
awesome.
entitled to one good. Wait, that's Halloween.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, but as far as like a story angle for Scream 7, Nev's in a real good position right now. It's fucking buyer's market, and she's got to be loving it because at this point they have to just fucking back the boat up and give her what she wants.
Yes, they have to kiss her ass.
And she's a win-win because if she tells them hey, you know, like take your offer, shove it up your ass. She's a hero to Scream fans,
Yes.
and people love her.
And here's the funny part is, as a Scream fan, if she comes back, I'll be giddy with glee. Like, I'll clap like Will Smith seeing the Batmobile for the first time. But
Yeah.
if she refuses them, tells them to shove it up their ass, same reaction. Same
Hell
exact
yeah.
reaction.
That's what I mean. She can't lose in this situation.
No.
She comes out looking like a hero, like, take your offer. I don't care what you did to me, what you did to Melissa, you know, blah, blah, blah. Shove it up your ass. Scream fans applaud her. They love her even more. If she comes back and takes the money, everyone's
Yeah.
going to see that fucking movie.
Me, oh yeah. As
I'll
one
be
of them
there
that day one.
day one. I'll be fucking standing there the night before midnight. Like they're like, you know, we don't do that anymore.
You don't have to stand in line anymore, man.
Oh, so should I go get GameStop for my midnight really? No, we don't do that. They don't do that either.
We don't do that here.
Yeah, right. We don't do that. What year is this? Like, dude, what year do you think this is? So next, yeah, let's talk about the Jenna Ortega thing a little bit more, because this is one of the more fascinating elements of this whole story,
Hmm.
because you don't know what to believe at this point. Like your gut reaction the day after Melissa's let go, you hear that Jenna leaves the franchise. Gut reaction, she's doing it to support Melissa. And you know,
Yeah.
we've talked about it. Jenna has plenty going on in her life. She doesn't need the fucking $800,000 from Scream.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that she was floating this around that she had too much going on and that Scream 7 didn't matter to her.
Yeah.
And like maybe she was even talking about this with Melissa because they're apparently good friends in real life. So I mean, maybe they were both even saying, "Do we really want to be part of this still?" And it's the only thing Melissa had going, so I'm sure she was still
Yeah,
on board for
it's
all
what
this.
she's most known for, yeah.
So she was probably still on board. And maybe she was even talking to Jenna Ortega about like Jenna Ortega may have even had crisis of conscience moments where she's like, "I have to be part of it for Melissa." And then when they fired her, she's like, "Well, now I don't have to do this for her. I may
Right.
as well just go
She
do what I was gonna do."
she was pretty much the reason I was doing this anyway.
She's Wednesday, and she's gonna be Beetlejuice. She's gonna be in Beetlejuice 2 as Lydia's daughter. She does not need the work. She's
Right.
going places.
And she's
She just
gonna be
does
so
it.
many things in the future.
Yeah, yes, she is.
But yeah, there was that speculation. And to that end, you know, some people said that Jenna had been trying to get out of Scream for a while because of other projects, and maybe she asked for more money because she knew they wouldn't grant her wish, and it's her way
Maybe.
out. If that's the case, and she was let go months ago, maybe that's what happened. But it's weird. You can find different stories. Like if you go to Google and search what happened with Jenna Ortega, you can probably find like 3 different scenarios on the first page.
Probably,
Like,
yeah.
actually, she never had a deal in place for a third movie. That a trilogy was never the plan, but it was. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Then some people saying like, oh, she asked for more money months ago. She's been fired. It's just been hush hush. Like, I don't know what to believe with that.
I don't fully believe she's been out for months. They've just been trying to figure out how to let her go. I don't believe that because I think they kind of banked on them two being the Carpenter sisters still.
Oh yeah,
So I really don't think that she's been out for months and they're like getting cheeky with it or kill her at the beginning of the next movie. I don't think that was it, but I mean,
right.
you never know. They're never going to tell us. So
And I think in this, like the way that Spyglass has been going with this trilogy, you could have lost one or the other, and you would have been fine.
yeah,
Like if Jenna
absolutely.
left, you could have focused more on Melissa Barrera. That would have been great. Or if
Yeah,
Sam left, you could have focused on Tara, which Jen Ortega's the bigger star now, so more like casual fans would probably want to see that.
yeah,
But either way, like you could have lost one of the Carpenter sisters, and still could have made a really good movie.
absolutely. I think they could have killed Jenna Ortega off in the next movie, and I still would have liked it. Like, as a
Yeah,
matter of fact, big deaths like that sometimes make me happy. They're willing to do stuff like that.
yeah,
That's what I liked about Game of Thrones is most of the way through that show, they weren't afraid to kill characters you liked. They were not.
yeah. That's one you haven't got me over to fully yet, but I definitely know that show's not afraid to kill main characters.
No. At the end, it kind of was, but
Right? What season 8?
yeah. At the end, it kind of stumbled and was afraid to kill the main characters, and I think that's because it didn't have George R. R. Martin's actual book behind it.
All right, that's when
They They had a
That's when
little
the
too much freedom and too much fan service.
That's when they started, like, so season 8 was they were all out of his material, so they made their own ending.
7 ended, it was the end of his books. He had not written the last thing yet, so they got to 8 before he finished his book, so he was like, "You know what? I'm gonna give control over to the Benioff and Weiss and see what they do," and they went a little too fan servicey and, like, wasn't willing to kill anybody, and everything turned to shit too quick, and it's we'll get into it another time, but
yeah, right.
I love season 8 as a fan, but it definitely could have gone better.
That sucks for them, though. That has to be so much pressure. Like, they had the source material to go on for years and years, and he's like, "Here you go, you end it." Like, what?
One of my theories is that George R.R. Martin actually did have a lot to say with it, and it was how he was going to end the books, and people hated it, so he was like, "Oh shit, I got to rewrite something else."
Yeah, he's like, "What if I don't do that at all?"
And that's why his book hasn't even come out yet, because he's like, "Oh."
All right. So let me see. Tristan, what messed up the Scream franchise was that they made the lead girl have visions of her father in Scream 6. What happened to that? Yeah, that was Scream 5. I think it's a movie I've kind of eased up on, like, as I've forgiven more with time. My gripes don't bother me as much. I'm a little more forgiving with it. Of course, again, I'm biased. I'm a big Scream fan, so I let stuff go more with this franchise. But I know it's supposed to be hallucinations and shit, but the Force Ghost Billy Loomis, I've always hated. That never worked for me.
A little stupid. I was okay with it for the most part, but the fact that he was such a manifested person sitting there talking to her,
yeah, they should have had his face in a fireplace like Sirius Black.
Exactly, that would have fixed everything.
Sam, kill.
That's how you do it.
Then she got dropped. Wait. Oh, the lead girl got dropped. Yeah, Melissa. That part of Scream 6 ruined the rest of the franchise because you set up that she may turn evil. It went nowhere. Yeah, and it looks like it never will go anywhere.
I really, in Scream 6, thought she was going to be one of the killers.
Yep.
Because of the whole Loomis thing, and she saw the visions. And
good old GameStop midnight releases. Fuck yeah, Josie.
Oh, they were hard.
Hey, a part of me misses those days.
Yes.
Josie says they could have killed extra few characters in season 8 Game of Thrones.
There were a couple characters, Josie, that I really wanted to see die because it would have been effective, and none of them did, so kind of pissed me off.
All right.
It was a pussy way to go out, and I did not enjoy that part of it.
Yeah, you hear that, Game of Thrones?
House of the Dragon's great, though. Can't wait for season 2.
They're like, "Oh, it's that easy here. You do it."
Yeah.
Rewrite season 8.
Don't get me wrong. I would probably do way better. Is that not what I was supposed to say? My bad.
That was a nice bait and switch there. All right, so let's talk a little bit now about kind of what direction we want to see the story go for Scream 7. A couple of the different options that we see it going, and maybe which one sounds preferable to us. Okay. Real quick, Josie says, "Oh, House of the Dragon has been so good."
Absolutely, Matt Smith is killing it, man. Like the character of Damon's my favorite.
Is it Matt Smith?
Yes, he's such a badass in that show. I love him.
He's fucking unhinged. I love him.
He is. He's great.
The best and only good part of Morbius was that man.
True. He killed it.
He did. And that's the only nice thing you'll ever hear me say about Morbius.
Same, and I'm a Marvel fan.
Yeah, so as far as the story directions for Scream 7, on such short notice, if they do want to release this next year, or maybe 2025 is more realistic now, I think your options are, we talked about the first one, you give the fucking boat to Nev Campbell, you have part 7 focus on Ghostface coming after Sydney and Mark and their family, raises the stakes with kids involved. That's always a squeamish thing for people.
Yes, it is.
And is there a Ghostface killer that would be willing to cross that line? That could be compelling, like hurting a kid. Like, I know they go after teenagers and stuff, but a kid.
That's a rough way to go.
Could that be too dark for some people? I'm sure it would be for Scream. But, depending, do they want to go real dark?
I don't see them ever going that way. Like, if anything, at the end of the day, I think that ends with Sydney dying.
Yeah.
At the most. And that being like the big thing.
Do you think there's any, do you think they would even go to a degree of like putting kids in a dangerous situation? Like
that, yes.
Maybe they get hurt or something, break a bone, maybe something like that.
I see them possibly going that route where a kid gets hurt.
but
But at
not
the end of
dark
the
enough
movie,
though.
I think you see that kid alive and fine.
Yeah. I think it's going to end with Sydney, Ghostface, and the kid in a circle, and he's flipping a coin to see if the kid dies. And then Batman comes out and tackles him.
And then Ghostface says, "You're lucky, but he's not."
He's not.
Who? Your driver.
Your
I don't have a
driver.
driver. Oh shit.
So yeah, my guess for that is the, if you can get these actors back, that is the safest way to go for Scream fans, to appease to them, to kind of save some face. That is and not, I don't think it's like just cheap either. I think that is a good story direction to go.
No,
Him
I like
terrorizing
it,
her
actually.
family.
I actually really like that story. I would definitely go and see that movie.
Sydney and Mark both have, they both have history with Ghostface.
Yep.
So there's that already. They've already been introduced, even though this would be a different Ghostface. Next, a completely wild other direction. You focus a movie on Chad and Mindy. I don't know how well it would do.
He never dies.
He never dies. Right? He's got the Dewey treatment now.
He does.
Wait, we got another one, dude. Scream 6 when he got stabbed.
Chad again, isn't it?
He got stabbed 17 times. We got another one. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
It only would have been more shocking and hilarious if Dewey was who they rolled out.
Jesus,
we got another one. Where the fuck did he come from?
That would have been the best bait and switch ever. Everyone's like, "Wait, Chad still lived?" Like, Dewey? He wasn't even at this place. He's still at the hospital. And every Scream fan would be totally fine with it.
Yep, I'd go see 8.
Dewey lived. We'll see what happened is Ghostface switched their bodies. We're always trying to justify shit. But
it was a fake knife that Stu, I'm gonna say Stu, stabbed into his stomach and pulled up when he said it's an honor.
Oh, and yeah, you're just saying Stu.
Yeah.
You're just outright saying it.
Oh, I think it was Stu.
That would retract one of my biggest issues with Scream 5 is that kill. If it's Stu, I'm fine with it.
Because fuck you, that was not her.
Right.
No.
And not only just the physical strength that she displayed there, but
yeah.
Fuck you. Amber does not deserve that kill. Fuck that.
Not only does Amber not deserve that kill, but when they're standing there in front of each other after they lift him to his feet.
Yeah.
Ghostface might even be a little bit taller than David Arquette. That actress was not taller than David Arquette.
Right.
Plus, even with adrenaline, pulling that knife up like that and saying it's an honor, no, not her.
Bro, and they had, like, some people were like, well, if you pay attention to that scene when they pull the knives up, Dewey's still actually on his tiptoes. They didn't lift him up. But do you know how much strength it takes to lift up dead weight on their tiptoes, like drag? Like that takes just as much strength.
Exactly. And Amber is, she's not in the scene, so it could have been her. But I believe Richie was in the elevator, right? Like he was one of the ones that got in the elevator and went down. So
like, it could only be Amber or someone we didn't see.
Or someone else. And having Stu be the actual person who said it's an honor would make way more sense. The line would actually give me chills if I knew it was Stu.
Right. It would be so fitting.
Yes.
It totally would.
Which is good writing. But to make it Amber is not good writing. That's terrible.
Exactly.
It took it away from me.
Sometimes fans have this way of like, we make a fan service story in our head that ends up being better than, like, I don't know if Spyglass ever thought like, well, this is all going to come around in 7 because it's actually Stu that killed Dewey. Like, or if fans just like brought that into existence.
I 100% think I did that in my own head, thinking it was Stu. But I've been looking for Stu for years. But you know what? When all the Saw movies were happening, I was always looking for Dr. Gordon, and I was right.
You were right.
Dr. Gordon was helping the whole time. So I think maybe I have another Dr. Gordon situation happening here.
Let's face it, baby. These days, you gotta have a sequel.
Oh, I love it.
You gotta. Oh man, he would be so great to have back in the franchise. But yeah, so the story here, you focus on Chad and Mindy. Only thing I could really come up with, I do love Chad. That's why I would be okay with this story.
Absolutely.
Chad is Chad is a total Chad.
He's a good, he's a good character.
And listen, sometimes that exact characteristic I hate, and sometimes I love. With Chad, I love it.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is. He's douchebaggy and fratty, but not in like an annoying way.
But he never like takes himself too seriously. He never acts like the tough guy.
Yeah.
Like he's just like protective of the girls, and like he just like uses his strength when he has to, or he jokes about it. Like in Scream 5, he's like, maybe I should introduce him to Hobbs and Shaw. I fucking love Chad. But so
you can see that he's not cocky because when Ghostface actually is chasing him, he's running. He's not like
he sees him, he's like, oh shit.
Yeah, he's like, fuck this, man, I'm out of here.
But he does beat some Ghostface ass when he needs to. Till he gets stabbed 17 times and lives. But yeah, so Chad's dope. I'd be okay with that story in the sense it wouldn't be my favorite direction to go. But the only thing I could think is if you bring in someone else that another obsessed fan of either the actual Woodsboro murders or the Stab series, maybe like they track Randy's family because they're just looking for like living people.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they are Randy's family. So maybe that's like a crazed fan. That's a direction you could go.
Which again has happened.
Yeah, yeah, they've done something like that before. Yeah. So if you do something with Chad and Mindy route, that's what I like. That'd probably be the story I'd want to see is like a crazed fan who loved Randy. Like I always thought Randy should have got the girl. Like,
man, I miss Randy so much.
They fucked up killing him in part 2.
Yeah, and it was fucking Miss Loomis who killed him. I hate that shit.
Fucking Nancy killed his ass.
I hate it so much.
Pinned him down in the van, stabbed him. Like everyone's like, well, he was caught by surprise. Like, come on, bitch.
Yeah.
You told me Jackie from Roseanne did that? I'm not saying Jamie Kennedy's the toughest guy, but come on.
I think he's tougher than Sheldon's mom. See how I brought it to a different character?
Yeah. I had another reference and I lost it, so never mind. Let's read some comments. That's what bigger channels think. I think what they do when they have a brain fart, they're just like, let's check out the super chats.
Yeah, it's effective.
It's effective.
Hey, oh, shit, Tim, Jim, and Tim.
Jim, Tim, meet Jim, Timmy, Jim, and Jimmy, John, Timmy, dude. All right, Tim, thanks for joining us, buddy. 5 minutes ago. Mike says, I think we should just start over. I'll play Ghostface.
Mike, you never even watch these movies, have you?
I know. It would be fascinating to have someone play Ghostface who has no idea what the character is.
You know what? Okay, that's true. But
what they should do is make a real life Stab movie, but they play the whole movie seriously, like it doesn't pan out, and Mike could be the Stab killer.
That right there is one of my fantasy scenarios where they go with these movies. They just start the Stab movies. They call them Stab and Stab 2 and Stab 3, but it follows the Ghostface Wilson and. Well, it doesn't have to like actually cast those people, but to have them like go so meta that now we're watching the movies in the movies would be hilarious.
Dude, that would be the most Scream thing ever.
It would.
It's like the opening scene, right? You know, there's always like the cold open where Ghostface slashes someone and then Scream comes up.
Always a fake out. Yep.
You have all that, and then you have Stab come up, and everyone's like, "Oh, joke! Now it's gonna pan out." And it's like a half hour in the movie, like, what's happening here?
And then the movie just goes.
That would be bold. Josie says, welcome in, Tim. Mike, if you play Ghostface, I want to be in it somewhere. Josie wants to fuck you up.
Again, Josie, we talked about this once. We decided we were going to remake a movie. I don't remember which one now. We said we were just going to cast ourselves, and Adrian said, just because we're a production company doesn't mean we're actors.
Yeah. Everyone just assumes we'll make it. Okay, are you acting? Are you doing cinematography?
I see us more,
editing.
I see us more as the Broken Lizard guys. We'll just be in the movies.
Oh, I said that's I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mike says that's fine. I'll be so obvious about it that people would be like, it can't be him. Mike, I think you have seen these movies because that's Scream's whole thing.
They've done that, yeah.
The first hint,
dick.
The first hint that anybody's a Ghostface killer, if they say, "What's Stab?" they're a killer.
Yeah. Or when Richie pretends to not be interested in the social media talking about the Stab movie.
Yes.
Clearly.
What are you going to tell you? What are you going to tell everyone? Peer pressure. I'm far too susceptible. I love still. Okay, Josie says, "Oh, that's perfect, Mike. I can be the guy that everyone expects it to be because it can't possibly be you." Oh, guys, we have a Scream movie here in the works.
We just make it you too. That to me that makes sense. Like everybody's like, "Well, it's obviously him, so it's not him," but then it is you.
Mike says, "No, I haven't seen a single one."
Of course not.
I love Mike's input in horror community when he's never seen any horror movies. Mike, he did like The Thing though.
Mike, where's Scream 7? How is Scream 7 going to start?
Oh, Mike, if you know that, please let me know. Actually, that would be great.
I already know his answer.
Unless Mike gets comedy and he subverts your expectations. Mike? Okay. So beyond the Chad and Mindy, beyond giving Nev Campbell the boat, third idea for me, and this is another bold one, you just go a completely new direction. No Sydney, no Gail, no Sam or Tara. I've heard ideas like introducing the cult of Ghostface, and this is kind of where Stu could be unmasked to be like the leader of this cult of Ghostface. I think this would be a story that lends itself best for probably Kirby, because she's the FBI agent. She could probably investigate like the cult. So this would probably be more of like a Kirby-centric story. Maybe you could get Gale in there, Kirby and Gale working together, like because they don't really like each other. That'd be a fun dynamic. But yeah, that's like a new direction. So cult, and you could still do that like with Sydney or blah blah blah. But if you go a new direction, I think the cult of Ghostface would be pretty good. Good excuse to get Kirby, maybe Gale back in the fold.
I like that somewhat, but I also don't love the fact that they'd be turning it into like a whole organization of ghost faces.
Yeah.
And that they're churning them out left and right, like a Jared Leto cult where everybody just wears the mask and gets naked and drinks. And then two of them are dispersed to the town to kill Sydney, and the rest of them are just waiting to hear how it went.
It should be a red flag whenever a horror movie has cult.
And Mike didn't pick up my comedy setup.
7 will actually be a prequel to the original.
Mike, a prequel to the original would just be everyday life in their town. Nothing like that happened before.
Well, you had
It'd be pretty boring, actually.
You had Marine Prescott get murdered. You could focus. Actually, that would
but that
boring.
Was 15.
You could focus
before.
on like the Marine affair with Marine's affair with Billy's dad. That's kind of boring.
Yeah. And then just one person dies, and that's the end of the movie. I don't know.
Yeah. And then as far as your whole Stu theory, if you remember the killer at the beginning of 5, like when we first meet Tara. Yeah. Remember the moment he gets really pissed off on the phone is when he asks her who the Ghostface killer was in Scream, or in the first stab, and she only credits Billy Loomis. She gives no credit to Stu Macher, and he gets pissed. So
okay.
So Amber, it couldn't be Amber because actually it could be Amber because it was Amber's phone, but someone was recording her from outside to make her think that might have been Richie.
That might have been part of their setup.
But I want to believe it's Stu because the killer got pissed when she says, it's Billy Loomis. He said, wrong, there were 2 killers.
True.
So I want to believe that was Stu on the phone pissed. Like
he was doing the setup call.
Yeah, exactly. I never get any credit, man.
Well, Jennifer Aniston is the villain. Clearly, that's the way to go, Mike. You nailed it.
Wait, does he have a good Scream story idea?
No, just Jennifer Aniston's the villain, and I think that's playing off Courtney Cox being in the movie. I don't know. Mike has these weird tie-ins with his brain. If one person is in it, he's like, oh, this other person should be in it just because they work together.
Mike, there is a Jennifer Aniston Easter egg in Scream 2. Someone talks about Gail, how she had a naked picture drop on the internet, and she said, they just photoshopped my face. The body was Jennifer Aniston. And that was during the height of Friends, so that was a great little in joke.
Yeah. Between Friends.
Yeah. The other one you've already Friends. Other one you've already mentioned. And it's one I'd be scared of, but a complete fresh remake, a reboot, whatever you want to call it. With a new cast of characters.
Taking a drink real quick. Hold on.
I'm thirsty, bitch.
He's good now. He's good.
Strange, you and I have never talked on the phone, isn't it, Gail? But I love his fucking voice, by the way.
Especially in 3.
Oh, with like the voice changer.
Yeah, it's not Ghostface at all.
Yeah. Whoever did all those voices is a great fucking vocalist. He did Cotton and Sydney. But so you go a brand new remake. I guess you call it Scream 7. I don't know what you call it, but fresh cast of characters. New kids, not really familiar with any actors. Again, I think the one character you could squeak in is like an older Gail as the reporter. It makes sense for her to be around the murders. I think, I don't know how much more Courtney Cox I want to see in this franchise. I do love her keep coming back because I think, people don't get paid a ton in Scream, so I think she just genuinely enjoys doing these movies.
Yeah.
And I love her in them, but I think her story arc probably could have concluded in 5. It just the thing that good.
Just to be completely honest with you, I'm just sick of the legacy characters coming back for these.
Yeah. What about Sydney, though? You'd be all right with Sydney, though.
See, I'd be okay with Sydney because she wasn't focused on in 6. So finally we got a movie where it wasn't about her.
Right.
And like her coming back now for a movie, I am 100% down with her coming back for a movie. But here's my stipulation. I'm only going to be 100% down with it if she dies.
Oh, really?
I'm sick of her coming back, killing both Ghostfaces or 3 or 1 or whatever it is. And then just, she's fine. She's gone through so much. She would not be, I think she'd be like in a fucking nut house by this point.
Yeah, I think she might be the most traumatized human on the planet.
God. But no, Laurie Strode also, because she had a couple friends die once 40 years ago. So
equal trauma.
So equal trauma.
If anything, Laurie's is much worse.
Yeah.
Dude, Sidney Prescott would kick the shit out of Laurie.
She would.
No one told you life was gonna be this way. All right. Yeah, so the remake, I think the remake route would probably scare me the most. The one I would probably at least be looking forward to is the Chad and Mindy thing. It would be the least like entertaining, I think, for Scream fans. And the one I'd be worried about most is the remake. The safest one would be Sydney. And then, of course, my preference wouldn't be any of these. It would be Ghostface Goes to Space.
That's where all the franchises eventually go.
Listen, you retcon Dewey's death because that was a bunch of bullshit. You have Ghostface chasing Dewey into this cryogenic chamber.
Oh my God. Do it. Keep going.
Dewey, Nev Campbell finds them both in there. But she gets airlock door behind her, so she gets locked in after Dewey and Ghostface are already frozen. They wake up in the year 2455.
How's nobody ever thought of this?
What if they retcon their ship going past Jason's ship in the sky?
Or you just see Jason and Bronski going down towards Earth too, as their ship's going by. What is that?
You look out the window, you look out the Ghostface window, and you just see them flying towards Earth.
Or you have Ghostface go to space. All this happens. He ends up on a mysterious planet. Next movie, Ghostface versus Jason. And
there you go. That's
Jason. He's Uber Jason versus Ghostface.
That's the set. Oh God, Uber Jason would wreck him.
He'd destroy him. Unfortunately for Uber Jason, there's 150 Ghostfaces. So every time he kills one, there's just another one.
Oh, that's true. And he also has the help of KM from Jason X.
That's right.
With her nipples.
And Bronski shows back up somehow.
Amber says, "Why hasn't Mike watched any?" That's a good question, Amber. I thought you were a horror fan. Make him watch some of these.
Are you a horror fan, Amber? I thought you weren't. Or are you?
I think Mike,
I don't know. I got it mixed up.
I think Mike said she likes horror movies.
Well, then Mike's wrong.
Yeah. Get him to watch some of these classics so we can talk. Well, we do need to get Amber on for her special privileged one-time tier because she's, with one of the cast members.
I was going to say that's different.
Well, yeah, but that's a special privilege, okay? I mean, Tim, if you want to get with me, you can be on an episode. Tim said, I got a split. I'm at job number 2 for the day and can't hear over the jukebox. I'll pick up and watch the rest tomorrow. Well, thanks for stopping by, my friend. Josie, you have to do Ghostface and Space Ghost. Absolutely. Oh, shit. I think Mike
my God.
Space Ghost. Space Ghost to Ghost. Wait, there has to be a more catchy thing.
Only if they have Brack in it.
Yeah, oh, God, Brack. Yeah. Gotta have Brack. Space, Ghostface, Coast to Coast. That's not terrible. It's a little wordy. Ghostface versus Jason in space. Exactly. Ghost Space versus Yes, except for clowns. I hate clowns.
I agree with you, Amber. They freak me the fuck out.
Ah, you hear that? We have a special Patreon tier. Make Corey and Amber watch clown movies.
Oh my God.
Amber's like, wait, I'm not part of your podcast, your shitty podcast.
I love It Part 1 and 2, but other than that, I hate clowns. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I won't even watch that movie. I hate it.
And then the last option here, which I could see it happening, but worst case scenario, I think, is that maybe the movie just doesn't happen and Spyglass just holds the title hostage until they have to sell.
See, that's another way I think they could go with it is 5-6 years down the road, whenever whatever contract they have ends, they could always
and listen,
just sell the property.
I'm not saying that's the worst thing for the franchise. It's not going to break my heart if Scream 7 doesn't come out in 2025. If they decide they're going to take a couple of years off to make a new Scream movie, reboot it, whatever they decide to do, I do think they should really sleep on it.
Yeah, I don't think another movie should come out next year. No, they need to take their time.
Amber says, bring it. She's down for the challenge. Hey, what's up, buddy? How's life treating you? This guy here's got a pretty sweet gig. Works from home for DraftKings. I'm envious. Mike,
Nice.
I'll watch all Scream movies by next Halloween. Okay, there's a promise.
Cool, man.
Somebody clip it. We got that on right here. Let me put it back up. Mike will watch every Scream movie by next Halloween.
He has an entire year to watch 6 movies. He might get through them.
He might, yeah. Hey, they're enjoyable. They're enjoyable. Speaking from a totally biased point of view.
I just mean, like, if he can get away from watching his go-to shows that he keeps going back to.
Oh yeah, his bingo card.
It's taken us forever to get him to watch 3 seasons of Sunny.
Here's another question. I want to just pitch a couple things real quick, and I'll give you a second to think on it because I already have a prepared answer. Right. But aside from if we decide to have a little, oh, sorry, Joe. He said, FanDuel, bro. FanDuel, bro. Sheldon, what's going on? I'm a witness of him saying he will do it. And then Mike says, hey. Yeah, so other than the story direction, what are some other fun things you would like to see whenever another Scream does happen? Like, aside from if they go the route of bringing Stu back, which we would love. I understand fully why some fans would be against it, but I would love it just because this franchise, I don't take the franchise super serious in the sense of the story. Like, I'm like, well, that's stupid. That, like, do you see how many times Dewey has lived and Gail has lived and Sydney has lived and Chad?
If we took the story too seriously in this, it unravels very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody would love Scream if they focused on, like, the realism of people dying and no story plot holes.
And the constant connections. And just because one person tried to kill Sydney because of the past doesn't mean everybody connected to it's going to become a killer. That's not how the world works. And not everybody becomes a killer just because they're related to Sydney or that she's related to somebody's death.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
No.
So something I would like to see, just a fun, first of all, I think fun change of scenery in Scream 6. I like the setting of Manhattan. And they've done it a couple times in the series. Like part 3, they went to California because they were filming Stab. Part 2, they were in college. So there's just as many movies now in this franchise away from Woodsboro as there is in Woodsboro.
All the people that say that Manhattan was a weird choice because why would they leave their town? They've left it before. This is not.
They've been gone half the movies.
Yeah.
And so I like the change of settings. Of course, I want to be careful that it doesn't become a trope for every single Scream.
Yes.
But if you do it again, something I always thought would be really cool is seeing Ghostface. Like, maybe you take some characters and you kind of have this trapped isolation, like a snowstorm like in a cabin during a snowstorm. Like, think The Thing as a setting.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, and you take that and you take Ghostface like in the snow. Maybe you give him like the reverse white outfit sometimes to like blend in.
Nice.
Like, I think Ghostface in the snow, just for some reason in my head, it's a really cool dynamic. And I think just in general, there's just not enough horror movies in winter in snow.
When horror movies go to like a winter aesthetic, it's actually kind of cool. I really like it.
Yeah.
The couple examples we have over the years have been very good. So putting having just say 10 teenagers end up in this cabin, they're drinking, they're having a great time. People start dying and Ghostface is leaving clues all over the house as to who's killing.
Yeah.
And like they all think they know each other, so they cannot figure out who the hell it could possibly be. And then come to find out maybe it's a person they didn't even come with, but they've been accusing each other the whole time.
Okay.
Like somebody's been hidden out doing this to them. And it was actually none of them, but they kept turning on each other.
Right. Joe says, yeah, Joe, we kind of talked about this a little bit, and I 100% agree with you. Great motive for Stu coming back would be pissed that Billy gets all the credit.
Yeah, because to be honest with you, in the first movie, Stu didn't seem as into the whole thing as Billy. He was just following
not at
his
all.
buddy. Like,
Yeah.
but I think he would be proud of the fact that he was part of the first two, and to honor Billy, who he clearly was in love with.
Yeah.
Like to find out Billy died and to come back because he wants to be tied to Billy still.
Yeah.
That I see that as a huge motivation. He's sick of people forgetting his name when it was him and Billy, not just Billy.
Yeah, and it's a funny line, like I referenced earlier. It's a funny line in the movie, but it kind of holds some weight. How like peer pressure, I'm far too susceptible. Like
Yeah.
Stu is just kind of a guy that went along with it because his buddy wanted to do it. Like Stu could probably be talked into almost anything.
Yep.
He's just a crazy fucking dude. And I think most of the kills in the first Scream movie are Stu, because every time that Ghostface is overly clumsy, that's Stu.
Yeah, Billy's only credited with 3 of the kills in the first movie.
Right.
So the rest of them are Stu.
Billy's the mastermind until Scream
Yeah.
3. But yeah. Mike says Ghostface takes Manhattan. Yeah,
They did it 2 movies sooner than Jason.
And there's an in-joke in the movie where maybe you remember his name, Corey, but Flash from the new Spider-Man movies.
The actor?
Yeah, he's in Scream 6, and there's a scene where he's watching Jason Takes Manhattan.
I don't know the actor's name, no.
And more accurately, Joseph says Ghostface on a cruise ship. Yeah. Yeah, Scream did it right, though. They didn't focus an hour and 10 minutes on a cruise ship. They just got right. They were right in New York to start. Well, New York.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd love to see Ghostface in the snow. I just think that makes for a great dynamic. I think any killer in the snow, when they did Never Hike in the Snow with Jason, I never realized how much I wanted to see Jason in that setting. And I think Screamface. I think it's Screamface.
Hey, look at Screamface. Oh god!
And I think
Ghostface.
Yeah, I think Ghostface and Snow could be even cooler than Jason.
I even feel like maybe a reverse Black Mask with the white hood and stuff would be kind of cool.
Like the white
outfit. Or is that blackface? We're not allowed to do that.
Blackface. Maybe Robert Downey Jr. could play Ghostface.
That's true. Nobody will care. The actor's name who played Flash Thompson in the Spider-Man movies is Tony Revolori.
Yeah. Tony Revolori. Yeah, he's watching Jason Takes Manhattan in Scream 6, which is very meta.
It is.
Which is another thing.
That's Scream. I mean, they're meta.
I was going to say, let me ask you real quick. How do you feel about meta? Because it's become a lot more in our daily TV shows we watch and movies. A lot more movies play meta jokes now and breaking the do you like to the level it's gotten, or do you think it should be cut back a little bit? Or
I personally am a little more cheeky. I like that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's one of the reasons the Deadpool movie is so good to me, is because he constantly breaks the fourth wall. I think it's hilarious. Now, do I want these movies to go completely into the meta world where they're talking to the audience like Deadpool does? No, I don't want that. But when you have, like, in the first one, Jamie Kennedy is watching Halloween saying, "Jamie, turn around," when Ghostface is coming up behind him and he's Jamie Kennedy, he's telling Jamie to turn around. I love that. That's hilarious. It's not in your face, but if you catch it, it's great. Like, I like that kind of meta. I love it. I love that the Stab movies are part of their universe, and that there's even a movie focused around the Stab movies as Ghostface. Like, it's crazy. The meta gets kind of crazy sometimes, but
I think Scream is a franchise that can continue to use it, because they're not like, obviously they didn't create the concept of like meta or breaking the fourth wall, but as far as like in horror, it's something, it's a horror like trope or subgenre you didn't see before Scream, really. Like Wes Craven's, we've talked about it, Wes Craven's A New Nightmare was kind of him testing that meta ground to see if Scream could work. Like horror movies in the 60s, 70s, 80s, there wasn't really breaking the fourth wall. That wasn't a thing, because it kind of took away from the seriousness.
And where the Child's Play movies did eventually do it, they kind of didn't do it early on. It was just more during the crazy ones like Cult of Chucky and Seed of Chucky and stuff like that.
I gotta give Jason Lives a little credit. They did do it.
Yeah.
Jason Lives broke the fourth wall a couple times.
Absolutely.
Mike says Jenna Ortega is going to come back as the villain, but they're going to keep it under wraps. Bro, there were some people saying for Scream 6 that this was all just before the movie came out and people realized Nev Campbell wasn't in it.
Yeah.
People literally thought the whole Nev Campbell pay dispute was like a thing that the studio never did on purpose. So when she appeared, people would be like, "Whoa!" I'm like, dude, do you realize how bad that is as an idea to make yourself look like shit, like for an in joke? Like,
you're instantly killing 20% of the fans' interest in that movie.
right? I'm
With
like,
that
that is a dumb theory. That would be going way too far.
Not good marketing, no.
Now, if they said like Nev will be in the movie, but we're going to reduce her role or something like that, like people would be pissed, and then they'd be like, "Oh, she's in the whole movie." That could be like something, but like to make it outside of the movies and be like, "Oh yeah, she wants more money than we're willing to give her." Like,
Nev is in this movie, but she's going to play more of a Drew Barrymore role from the first movie.
like, damn, spoilers.
God damn.
Mike says they should keep Meadow Deadpool only.
You bastard, no.
Mike, I think that's just you speaking as a Deadpool fan.
I was gonna say he wants it all to himself.
And then the one thing
greedy
that we
son of a bitch.
And then the one thing we haven't really seen, the one other could be bold, fun direction for Scream 7. Not saying I necessarily would want Sydney to die. You said that would work for you.
Yeah.
And to go more along with what you want, maybe you'd be okay with this. But I think it'd be kind of bold to have a Ghostface killer get away with it. We've never seen that.
I honestly want that to happen. Like, I don't hate when the bad guy wins. I actually kind of like that in movies.
Oh, I love that trope.
I mean, Jason dies a lot, but he gets away with it. Like,
yeah,
he gets away with it. He's still alive and he's not locked up or.
Right. Without the final 20 minutes of Empire Strikes Back, that movie isn't considered nearly as great as it is. And it's because the fucking how dark it gets for the heroes at the end and the evil kind of wins. People are like, whoa.
The balance being brought to the Force was not what you thought it was.
Exactly. Anakin did bring balance, damn it.
In the complete opposite way than you thought.
Yeah, so I think it'd be real ballsy to see Ghostface get away with it. That's something they almost did it with Scream 4 with Jill. She had a really good plan. She just talked a little bit too much in the hospital and gave away a big hint.
Yeah, she did. That movie ended about 15 times.
It had Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
It did.
I think Nancy Loomis had a real chance of getting away with it if she would have killed Sydney.
She definitely would have got away. I mean, barring no police work whatsoever, which that town's good at. She might have got away with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Nancy and Jill probably had the best chances of they almost got away with it. And then, just lastly, we've talked about it really. We're going to do our little bonus Ghostface tier list, and we won't be too long, guys. But the last question I just wanted to ask you is, is it time for Scream to die? If Scream died at the end of 6 with Melissa Brera leaving the mask and her and Jenna Ortega walking away, would that be a fine conclusion for the franchise for you?
Fine. No. Would I accept it? Yes. I hold these movies very dear to my heart. I love them a lot. To be completely honest with you, as much as I love all these other horror movies, I feel like Scream is more my franchise because I grew up with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, all these other ones started kind of before I was old enough to watch these kind of things. But when the first one came out, I was old enough to appreciate this. And I grew up with Ghostface, so I've accepted a lot of stuff that was kind of subpar as great because it's just how I view these movies. I hold them very close to my heart. So if it died, I would 100% accept it and watch these 6 movies over and over again for the rest of my life.
Right.
Till they obviously reboot it because nothing ever dies. But do I want it to die? No, I don't.
Yeah, as a fan, I would say I didn't load it up, but I would say Dickie Roberts. Hell no, fuck you. But I feel the same way. A huge fan of the series. I don't want to see it end. From an objective point of view, I think it's a question worth exploring because when any horror franchise gets to 6, 7, 8 movies long, it is to a point like, is this necessary? Like, do we really do we need this? And also, how eerily fitting is it that the end of Scream 6 is Melissa Brera dropping the mask and her and Jenna Ortega walking away?
Yeah. I mean,
that is fucking weird.
If you look back on all the horror franchises, when any of them got to 6, were any of them as strong as these 6 are? None of them.
Jason Lives.
No, not the
but the whole franchise
movie, like the whole 1 through 6
as a whole.
Yeah,
no, not at all.
I don't think any of them were as strong as Scream. So if it died now, it would probably go down as one of the best franchises in history. If it keeps going, I'm afraid they'll fuck it up. But
That's
do
what
I want them?
that's like.
Do I want them to keep going? Yes, I absolutely do. I'll watch 20 more of these movies.
I know, like, and I'm fine with Nev coming back again and again. Like, if she dies,
Yeah.
I think that would be a great stab in the heart. But if it's executed the right way, unlike Dewey, it could be extremely powerful.
Good.
But just like you said, that's the perfect thing. Is I don't want to get to a point where I'm like, oh, look, another Scream movie's coming out. No. Like, and I feel like if they keep like 7, 8, 9, like I'll get to a point where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go see it, but fuck.
Yeah. I just don't want them to get to a point where these movies are too campy and horrible, and we just
Yeah.
don't want to. I don't ever want to see a Scream trailer and be like, I don't know, because
Exactly.
6 still had me. I saw that trailer. I'm like, fuck yeah, Ghostface in Manhattan. Let's do this shit.
Right.
So I just don't
Just
want to
have
ever get to the point where I don't want to see a movie.
just have Scream 7 and have fucking Sydney and Sam be the 2 killers, and it ends there.
Hell yeah.
Hell
Or
yeah,
Sydney and
bitch.
Stu. Her kids are actually
Ooh.
Stu's. Ooh. And her kids are also ghost faces. Fuck yeah, dog.
I always had a thing for you, Sydney. In your dreams. Yeah, but that's the biggest thing, man, is I don't want to get to a point where I'm not excited for a Scream movie.
Yeah.
The news the last week definitely doesn't help my excitement for Scream 7.
No.
So this is probably the first time I've felt like, Scream 4 was kind of a thing too before it came out, where Scream 3 was definitely not on the same level of the first 2.
No.
And it had been, what, 10, 11 years since a Scream movie where I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah.
So I was skeptical before Scream 4, and I ended up loving that movie.
I was also, because it had been so long since they made one, that I was
Right.
like, why are we doing this?
I was skeptical of 5 because no Wes Craven. I still think it gets the spirit of Scream, so I do think they
Yeah,
accomplished
I
their mission.
absolutely do.
And
And I think the
great
motivation in 5 was actually decent motivation.
yeah, great
So I didn't hate
commentary on just toxic fandom,
Yeah, absolutely.
as they're the most toxic people in the world, Richie and Amber. But they do speak a lot of truth to toxic fandom and gatekeeping, and
Yes, they do.
which is a big problem just for pop culture in general now, is fucking gatekeepers.
Jesus Christ,
Let
yeah.
people love what they love.
Yeah.
I bust Corey's balls about the MCU, but I'm fine with Corey loving the MCU. I love 3 phases of
Yeah.
it, and maybe I'll love it again in about 2 years when shit starts popping off.
Adrian has never once called me stupid for liking the MCU. He just doesn't like it himself.
Yeah.
I've called him stupid for not liking it, but
all right, guys, then just to wrap up, we're going to do a fun little tier list here real quick. I'm going to call this, well, I don't know about Corey, but for me, I'm going to call it my unofficial ranking, because I'm sure a day will come where I do a full-length video on my channel ranking the Ghostface. So yeah. It could change from now to whenever I make that video. So this is our unofficial ranking. So make sure it's showing. Is it showing the online notepad?
oh yeah, you didn't have to do it this way. You could have just done a tier list.
Oh yeah, that's fine. We'll just do them like this. Let me know if any comments or anything come through, because I'm on the screen, so I can't really see anything.
Okay.
So since I started our 31 on 31 kind of thing, why don't you start us off with your number 12 Ghostface? I'm anxious to hear your bottom couple, because I think our bottom few we might be in agreement for the most part, and then it could go anywhere. But let's hear what you got.
Where I have 12? Who I have 12?
Yeah, who's your least favorite Ghostface?
Let me go to my list here.
Yep.
I am gonna have to say, what was the kid's name in 6?
Ethan.
Ethan, yes.
And
I
couldn't agree with you, Ethan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. I'm thinking the bottom couple in this list might be pretty similar. Yeah, Ethan, man, just I don't know. All the killers.
There were too many in 6.
Yeah, there were too many. And all the killers in this franchise have some fun characteristics to them, some unique characteristics. Ethan, to me, was the most, like, before the Ghostface reveal, he was the most fucking, like, milquetoast character. It's just nothing really interesting about him. Like, he was hanging around so much and providing nothing to the group where you're almost like, this kid has to be involved. Like, otherwise, why is he around so much?
It was just a complete redo of Debbie Loomis coming back to avenge her son. He was avenging Richie. It was just the same fucking thing.
Yeah, the whole
same
family.
Storyline. Yeah, same storyline.
You're talking about Ethan, right? The kid?
Yes.
Okay, not Dermot Mulroney?
No.
Okay, Mike says He's excited to watch the Scream movies. You should. They're really good. Joe says, I love Scream 6. Loved Melissa. Bummed. I hear you, buddy. I wanted to see the conclusion of that trilogy the right way. Just to brag right now, DK Metcalf got me 30 points already, and the game is only half over. Mike Metcalf can stop catching it and let Lockett get 10 more yards. Josie, if it's your fantasy or if it's your sports betting, I'm rooting for you, buddy. Lockett 10 more yards. Also, fuck the Cowboys.
Agreed.
Agreed. Yeah. Ethan, man, just really brought nothing to the movie.
No,
he was the killer of the three that to me was the most predictable, the easiest to guess. Because, like I said, he did nothing. Like, why have a character around this much? I know you could say they're like a red herring, and that's a very Scream thing.
Yeah.
But the kid he wasn't like funny. He wasn't shown to be like a brainiac. He wasn't, sarcastic, or there was just nothing to him. He was almost pointless. The only interesting thing about him was after the Ghostface reveal, when you find out that maybe his motivation is because his dad seemed to love Richie a lot more than him.
Yeah.
I get that he was the least favorite kid. So that got more fascinating, but that was for the last 10 minutes during the reveal. So let's kind of do a snake order here. We'll go back and forth like with our draft, So you did your 12, I did my 12. So I'll do my 11. Number 11, same movie as Quinn. You don't I just want to make sure you don't have her at 11?
No, but I do have all 13 killers because of the dude who dies at the beginning of 6. I just realized that.
Oh wait,
my
where'd
12
you
was actually my 13.
Is Ethan below him?
Ethan is below him. I had him next though.
You had Ethan at 12.
Yeah, no, I had Jason at 12, the guy who dies at the beginning of the.
Oh yeah.
6. But we can just pretend like he doesn't exist for the rest of this list.
Yeah, to be fair, he's pretty cool. It was man, when I first watched that movie, I was like, wow, this is ballsy. We're getting to see the killer right from the beginning.
Yeah, see, I thought it was a bold move, and then they killed him. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, wow. I immediately Samara Weaving was great as the opening kill, but I immediately dug that decision to show the Ghostface killer. I'm like, this is really different, but if they pull it off, it's going to be incredible.
Yes, it would have been cool. It would have been cool.
But still a fun little twist on that with what they actually did. Because
because you don't really get much of a taste of his Ghostface, because we're ranking Ghostface, I had to put him at the bottom.
Yeah, but you still put him above Ethan because he's inherently still more interesting than Ethan's character.
He's more interesting than Ethan. And I'm sure going forward, his Ghostface would have been much better.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Oh man, when he's on the phone talking to his buddy about like killing her, and just like after a while, it's like she wasn't a human. It's like she was just meat.
Yeah.
Ew. And then the way Ghostface fucking starts stabbing him. How about you, Jason? Are you meat? I love that. Oh, God. Because there wasn't a person in the audience that didn't think like, now you see something red. And he kills her. Everyone thought that was going to be like the cut to Scream 6. And then it continues and he takes the mask off. It was so good.
Yep.
That was so well handled at that opening scene. So who do you have at 11?
But at 11, I would end up having Amber Freeman.
Oh, Amber from part 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, as far as Quinn goes, I thought she had more characteristic than Ethan. The only reason she was a little hammy after the Ghostface reveal, but I think they all kind of were in parts of it. And it's a common thing in Scream. It's okay to get a little hammy, but she was just the only reason I put her above Ethan is before the Ghostface reveal. She's just kind of more of an interesting character to the group.
Yeah.
I think she brought more gravity to like her performance.
So this is why our lists are going to be a little bit different, because I took the characters, not Ghostface, out of it completely. I only ranked how they were as Ghostface.
Okay. Well then, yeah, we'll probably have some very different lists.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had Amber at 11.
Yeah.
So you're basing everything on like her as the Ghostface killer and then like post mask reveal?
Yeah.
Okay. So
and she dropped this low, first of all, because she didn't deserve to kill Dewey.
Right.
And there was no way it was actually her, so I don't think that was her anyway. She was kind of a whiny ass Ghostface. I honestly didn't like it. But I did like her motivation. Her and Richie's motivation in that movie was, it was enjoyable. It was fun.
Yeah. She was definitely more of the brains of the operation. Richie was the muscle.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Amber was kind of like, it's funny because Amber and Richie to me are complete opposites. I'm okay with Amber after the Ghostface reveal. Obviously, I don't like the logic of like her lifting Dewey. As far as like the strength things, I don't like any of that. But as far as her performance after the Ghostface reveal, I kind of like how crazy she is.
Yeah,
And I like
Amber's fine as a character.
Yeah, and I like Richie more before the Ghostface reveal. So I like Richie through the movie, don't like him as much as Ghostface. I don't like Amber through the movie, like her as Ghostface more. So
you liked Richie more as like the boyfriend just trying to protect his girlfriend.
yeah, I liked him as like the awkward, fucking dorky kind of guy.
Which is what Jack Quaid plays well.
Yeah, he's just a good actor.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so I liked Richie more before the Ghostface reveal. But like I said, my ranking is going to be all things weighted the same. So I guess that's something we should have clarified before the live stream. Okay, so since we're doing the snake order, you did 11, so we're going to do your 10 and then my 10. Who do you have at number 10?
At number 10, I have Charlie Walker.
Charlie, a.k.a. not Macaulay Culkin.
Not Macaulay Culkin.
So what is it you hate about Charlie?
I thought, personally to me, I thought it was too obvious it was him.
Yeah.
The two camera guys, I was like, he's very creepy. There's something about him I don't like. The other kids seem genuinely just into movies.
Mm-hmm.
But Charlie the whole time kind of felt like he was doing research almost. And
yeah,
I hate that he was just kind of a pawn in Jill's game, and then she killed him immediately. I thought he was a decent, like Randy Meeks copycat, kind of.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think there was a lot redeemable about him.
Yeah, Charlie's a weird character because, like, people like this in real life that give you like he's kind of dorky, but he also has like a confidence or a cockiness to him, but he's also has like a creep vibe. Like I can't.
Yeah.
I can never really pick up on Charlie's vibe.
He's not the kind of dork you feel comfortable in a room alone with.
Exactly. He's the creeper kind of dork.
Yeah, that would sit too close to you with you two being the only two in the room.
Yeah, so in that sense, he played that character great, the creep.
Yeah.
But yeah, agreed. Jill totally made Charlie her bitch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I don't care what people say. She never had intention of actually like being with him or
nope.
Like she was using him the whole time.
That's why I use the word pawn. He was nothing more than just a killable character.
Yeah. At my number 10, it's so surprising that I like Scream 6 so much because you'll see now that my bottom 3 Ghostface killers are all from Scream 6.
You can put mine at my 9.
9, Detective Bailey.
Yep.
AKA Dermot Mulroney.
Yes.
Detective Bailey, now, again, he was a character I liked more as a character. His motivation to actually go after Ghostface totally made sense. His kids were dead. Makes sense that he fucking goes on the outskirts of the law to avenge his kids.
Yep.
I thought his character arc was pretty good as a character. I really liked the twist that maybe Kirby was actually the fucking loopy one that went crazy. And then again, he's post Ghostface reveal. And I think Scream 6, what I love about it is the Ghostface feels fucking just mean, feels vicious. Like,
yes, he's a horrible fucking father. He like raised these kids to be obsessed with serial killers and killing. So it's obvious the whole family was going to do it.
And what kind of sucks is you don't really buy that. Same with some of the issues of Scream 4 with Jill and Charlie. You don't buy them like throwing people through windows and shit. Because I mean, look at them. Yeah. The same with this movie. It's like, unless Detective Bailey killed all those people, you don't buy fucking Quinn throwing fucking Courtney Cox's 6-foot boyfriend through a fucking wall. And like, because that Ghostface performance is fucking great. But there's no way you're going to tell me that was Quinn or Ethan doing that.
And he, according to Collider.com, he's only counted with 3 kills, possibly 5 others. So I don't think they know 100%. Yeah. So I don't think they even know 100% who each one was supposed to be. But like all the Scream movies, it seems unlikely that some of these deaths would happen. Like,
yeah,
sometimes the characters being killed are much stronger than the killers who end up getting revealed. So it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. The Ghostface lore is strange thing to dive into. Some people think the mask give whoever's wearing it powers, and like I don't know.
It better not go that route.
I know it's gonna go real
so
fucking.
Mad.
Remember earlier I said cult of Ghostface. It might go real cult of Michael Myers.
Oh god.
Cult Born.
Or like the Jason Goes to Hell, where he can transfer his consciousness to other people.
Yeah, see, Joseph says, same here. I love 6, but 6 is my least favorite Ghostfaces. What is that, Joe? I think if you had if you had some of the story decisions in Scream 5 with the Ghostface 6 kill reveals, if you put those together, that might be a Scream that I don't love much. But luckily, Scream 5, I like the killers more. Scream 6, I like the whole movie before the killers more. Josie says Ghostface ends. Ghostface dies tonight.
Ghostface dies tonight.
Yeah, so Charlie, I agree. Total creeper vibes. But Detective Bailey, I like Dermot Mulroney's performance throughout the movie. This is an example of kind of too campy, too over the top once it's revealed. Like, I don't know. I did not like I didn't dig his performance at all as the Ghostface killer after.
No. Nope.
He was like when I loved how brutal fucking Sam was talking to him about like how pathetic his kid was, Richie. But he's like, he was a feral young man. Like, what?
That's what you say about your kid?
No, Mike, I agree. Dermot's a great actor, but I appreciate that they probably just told him like, hey man, listen, at the end of this movie, just fucking go nuts. Just go for it. And he did. To his credit, he went for it.
He did. You could really see the psychopath dad at the end of that movie.
Yeah. You know, when he shoots Kirby and he's like, of course it's me. That's a great, like, quick reveal. But everything after that moment, like him and Sam go at each other full force when he has a loaded gun. He just tackles her instead. Yeah, it's just everything about his performance was terrible after the reveal.
Not nearly as bad as Ghostface following somebody with a gun and pointed at them like he's going to shoot, but never shoots. He's like right behind them with the gun on their back, running towards them.
Yeah,
it's terrible. Was that 3?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So I will do my 9 and then my 8. Number 9, we already talked about her, is Amber.
Okay.
Number 9, I mean, isn't a great ranking. Doesn't mean I love her, but yeah, she's kind of the opposite of Detective Bailey for me. Like, she kind of went over the top, and for whatever reason, I liked it more. It worked for me a little bit better. Fair. Number 8, we've already talked about as well, so we can fly through these, is Charlie Walker. And I fucking, I like his creepiness. It doesn't make me feel good to watch as a person. Like, I would not want to be around this guy.
I had him higher originally when I did my list. But then when I thought about it and I thought how much of a little bitch he was because he was just a pawn, he dropped.
If Ghostface was only Quinn and the father knew Ethan, it could have been. Agreed. I would be okay with that.
Yeah, I think that would have been all right.
I still don't love.
Quinn is fucking insane. I liked her a lot.
Oh yeah, Quinn was crazy.
Yeah.
I definitely would like that more. Not saying 3 Ghostface killers can't work, just not Ethan, man. Just no.
It did. Like, maybe have Ethan switch sides because he feels bad he's doing that would be a little better. And that's how it's revealed because he's like, I got to tell you who this is. And they think they have a leg up on the 2 Ghostfaces, but the Ghostfaces know he went and told, kind of like a back and forth there.
Sam Raimi will direct the next Scream, and Bruce Campbell will be
Mike just wanted to throw Bruce Campbell in there somewhere.
I got to get one in every live stream. Hey guys, Bruce Campbell.
It's eventually not even going to make sense. He's just going to say, "Hey, Bruce Campbell."
All right, so now let's get your 8 and then your 7.
This is where I have Debbie Loomis.
Oh wait, Nancy.
Nancy
Loomis.
Oh, okay. I wrote down the name. Wrong name.
Scream 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, Scream 2, Nancy Loomis.
Okay, I thought her name was Debbie. I got that wrong.
Yeah, and then what's your number 7? We can kind of talk about them together.
What's my next one down?
Yeah.
That would be Roman
Bridger. Okay, so Nancy and Roman I actually have coming up very soon on my list too, a little bit higher than you. So we'll just talk about them now. Nancy, I think Nancy is one of the, like, for first-time Scream watchers, I think Nancy would probably be one of the bigger reveals, like, one of the bit more surprising ones. Because definitely Mickey was definitely the crazy, the muscle of that one.
Yeah.
Uh,
More
but yeah,
interesting.
more interesting. I don't think Nancy I just don't think a lot of people saw it coming other than the fact that you might be like, "Who the fuck is this, obsessed reporter with Gale?"
It was the only thing that was slightly obvious was she was always interfering exactly about the killings.
When
She
big things
seemed
were
to
happening.
always she always seemed to know when things were happening, and she was a little too invested. And a lot of times when serial killers are doing their stuff, they get a little too invested in the investigation,
Yeah.
and she was kind of doing that.
Yeah. And she's another one for whatever reason, the over the topness of her at the end works for me as well, more so than, fucking Dermot Mulroney.
And I just got to kind of throw this in there. IMDb is calling her Debbie Salt.
Well, Debbie Salt's her name before she reveals that she's Billy's mom.
Maybe that's why I mixed it up.
Yeah, that's funny. You did Debbie Salt and Nancy Loomis, so you did Debbie Loomis.
Okay, I mixed them up then.
That's
All right.
that's her mutated character. And then Roman. Yeah, man, Roman. I just not enough screen time. I obviously we both like the actor because we're big Scrubs fans.
Oh yeah, I love him.
And I actually think post reveal Ghostface, I actually liked Roman and Sydney's like fucking just getting in a full out fist fight.
Yeah, that was crazy in his office.
Yeah, I like the forgotten child angle of him like being left behind. The retcon thing for that goes back and forth with me. I don't like them retconning like fucking I almost said Marine Ponderosa.
Oh, wow.
From Sunny. I don't like them retconning fucking Marine Prescott, making her look even worse and making Roman the actual secret mastermind the whole time. I don't like Sydney's mom coming to the fucking window as a ghost. That's the weirdest shit ever. But I do like Roman. I just don't think he had enough screen time. I don't like the retconning they did with him. And it's totally unbelievable that one Ghostface killer did all this.
I'm okay with the retconning because it really didn't take anything away from Billy and Stu.
Right.
It actually did it a service by having somebody take these kids' minds and warp them into committing this crime. So I didn't actually hate that. I just hate that he had like mommy and daddy issues, and for some reason he decided to become a killer again. Another fucking killer just because Sydney did nothing wrong.
Yeah, she really didn't.
Also, he has the highest confirmed Ghostface kill.
Hell yeah. Doing it all on his what does Kirby say in Scream 6? Roman Bridger, the only solo Ghostface. Kudos for ambition.
Yeah.
But Roman just, man, I don't know. I always go back and forth with him. Like he works for me and then he doesn't work for me. And I think his performance was fine. I think it's the movie around him.
Well, Scott Foley's a good actor, so
he is a good actor.
He did fine with what he was given.
And I just really fucking enjoyed him and Sydney literally like fist fighting, beating the shit out of each other.
Oh, it was like brutal. Like, they got somebody in there like John Wick choreographer.
Yeah.
That just it's like, here's how you throw a kick and make it look real.
Because I'm like, realistically, I think Sydney would have been knocked the fuck out 30 seconds into this fight. She gets brutalized.
Yeah.
He fucking gives her a couple haymakers, kicks her in the face when she's on the ground.
But that's the same movie trope. Like in Home Alone, the wet bandits would have died about 120 times. That kid does so many things to them, they'd be dead right away.
Again, you can't question too much of the logic of Scream. Just be along for the ride.
Just accept it.
But I do enjoy Roman.
Yeah, for the most part, I like him, but
he's not the issue with Scream 3. I'll say that.
No, God, no.
Okay, so for me, I'm going to do 7-6 in our little snake order here. And we're going to have a first timer that we haven't talked about. But I will go ahead and put my Nancy above because you already talked about her. So Richie Kirsch or whatever, the Bailey or whatever the fuck his family's name is, whatever you want to call him. Richie Richie worked for me a lot in Scream 5. Like I already said, I liked him much more as just one of the teenagers or whatever age they're supposed to be.
Okay.
I like him as the clueless kind of comedic relief. Just Jack Quaid kills those kinds of moments. You know, he's great. He's great at the comedy thing.
Yeah.
He has multiple chances to leave Sam behind and he doesn't do it, which seems like a great character, choice, like good moral ground, but it turns out he doesn't leave because he's Ghostface.
Yeah, there's a reason.
Yeah, but I love Richie as a character. I would have probably liked him more as one of the survivors or one of the victims, but after the Ghostface reveal for him, I think Amber was much more compelling in the final act of the movie.
See, I like Richie a lot in this movie. I like his.
Oh yeah, you haven't said him yet, have you?
Yeah, I like that he turns his he goes from like that bumbling I'm just here for the ride to this all was planned and I've been here for it the whole time. I don't like that Sydney again is the fucking target.
It comes down to Sydney.
I hate it. I think it should have been something to do with her and her sister. That was the reason Richie originally came back.
Yeah.
But I liked Richie. I like that because they really did play him off well. Like even though you knew right away that's got to be the killer.
Yeah.
Kind of at Stu's house there, you kind of think, oh, was I wrong though?
You're right.
He like gets stabbed and shoved in a closet with his hands duct taped shut. You're like, huh, maybe I'm wrong.
I love when he's in the bathroom and Nev Campbell shoots the door and then she kicks it open. He's hiding and there she's like, "What are you doing there?" He's like, "Avoiding killing, avoid being killed."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also biased here because I'm a huge Jack Quaid fan. Him on The Boys as Dewey is one of the best characters in that show. But seeing him in this was a lot of fun.
He's just a fantastic actor.
He is.
Amber says, "New subject for months ahead. I'm going to have Mike watch Silent Hill."
Ooh, yeah, great movie.
You know what you guys should do is you should sit down and play the game together, and then you should watch the movie. Well, maybe not Silent Hill 1. It hasn't aged super great.
2, for sure.
Silent Hill 2. Play Silent Hill 2, then
2
watch
and 3
the movie.
are good.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, you can buy 2 and 3. You can usually buy 2 and 3, I think, in a set. Usually, I think they come together.
Yeah, there's always some kind of deal on them.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've gotten to... let's go to year 6 and 5, and then we'll talk about them together.
My 6 is...
Getting into the top half now.
This is where I have Quinn.
Okay, wow. Quinn getting some love from you. And then 5?
My 5 is Dewey. Dewey, Jesus Christ, Richie.
Oh, Scream 7. Dewey. Okay, we talked about Richie a little bit. Quinn, I guess we covered Quinn as well. So Quinn works a lot better for you than she does for me, apparently.
She just was a psychopath. I liked her a lot.
Yeah.
And I think even though she only has one confirmed kill technically as Ghostface, I think she donned it the best of the Baileys. I think she embodied the spirit of wanting to kill more than any of them. It had nothing to do with how many kills she got. It had everything to do with how much she wanted to kill because she wanted to kill.
Yeah.
Plus, again, as that actress went from one way to another immediately, and I liked that.
She just like
she turned
switch of a light.
Yeah.
I do think as a character, she was probably like the most compelling of the 3 killers.
Plus, she killed Gail's new boyfriend.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Detective Bailey's motive more. Avenging his kid and all that stuff. I like that more, but I think she just kind of gave a better performance.
Yes, she's my favorite Bailey for sure.
Right. Or Rich, what's Richie's last name? Kirsch. Whatever the fuck their name is. Yeah. Okay, so my 5 we already talked about. Roman. Hell yeah, he's a top 5. Fucking show that man some love. And Roman seems to be one of the very love-hate out of all the Ghostface killers.
He is slept on because of the movie he comes from.
It's
unfortunate.
I don't think people hate Roman as much as they think they do. They just hate the movie. He is a little whiny, like you said, about getting his movie directed and his mommy issues.
And like you said, it's a little unbelievable. He's the only Ghostface. I think there should have been a second one. But
yes.
it also makes sense that you wouldn't always have a second person willing to do this. So that did make sense.
Absolutely.
You know, you're not always going to find another serial killer to work with.
And then starting my top 4 here, and this is only due to a lack of screen time. Otherwise, I'd probably have top 3. It's going to be Mickey Altieri, or however you say his fucking
That's
name.
where I have him too.
Number 4?
Yep.
I love Mickey, dude.
I love Timothy Oliphant, period.
Right. Yeah, I think he absolutely crushed the role.
Yeah.
It's literally a lack of screen time is the only thing that weighs him down.
Plus that voice of an angel in the cafeteria.
Right. Wait, that's Jerry O'Connell.
Oh, I guess Jerry O'Connell's the one singing. Yeah, never mind.
But Timothy Oliphant is his hype man. He's like, "Come on, guys, let's clap it up."
He's there with him, I guess. Yeah, I mixed those up.
But I do like how much work like Mickey went through, because he's already an established serial killer. Mrs. Loomis literally finds him on a website, so he has to go through the trouble of getting into this college, getting to know Sydney and her friends. I love how much befriending her and getting into a group or social group. I love how much work he fucking puts in. I love how he makes Sydney think that Jerry O'Connell might be the killer when he's like on the cross and he's tied up.
He deflects so beautifully in that movie by making her think that her boyfriend is the killer for sure.
Yeah, Mickey's fucking awesome. I like him post Ghostface because the dude's completely unhinged.
Damn it, do I have him too low?
I know. I still don't know to this day his fucking. I don't know if I love or hate his fucking. Bitch, you didn't see that one coming, huh? Like when Mrs. Loomis comes out, I love it. Yeah, it's not coming, did you?
I think he's just so caught up in the moment.
Yeah, he literally gets off like killing people and like just he's peaking at the, as Dennis would say, he's peaking all over.
Peaking.
And then Mrs. Loomis fucking kills him.
Hell yeah.
Amber says Mike is showing me the game now. All right, on. Is Mike familiar with the Silent Hill games? Hey, Mickey, you're so fun. You're so fun. Mickey is so fun. Mike, it's Timothy Oliphant.
Dude, it's Timothy Oliphant. I'd do him.
Tell me that's not a fine.
Wait, is this live? Can we edit that out?
There is no cutting in live.
No, I don't want to edit that out. It's fine.
All right, top 3 time, and surprisingly, neither one of us have said that. Both of us have the same 3. It's just if they're in the same order. So, Corey, who do you have as your number 3?
Here's where I might shock you. This is where I have Stu.
You son of a bitch.
And I know this is blasphemy for most Scream fans.
I'll just put mine in right now, Jill, at 3.
This is blasphemy for most Scream fans, but it's because his Ghostface is kind of terrible. His Ghostface is tripping over everything. He's not good at it. He's clearly just helping out. He's like the weekend Ghostface they get just to watch the store while the manager's out of town.
Right.
Like he's so bad at it. Stu Macher in this movie, in these movies, is my favorite character to ever hit maybe any horror movie.
Yes.
So don't get it twisted there. If this was a list of characters, he'd be number 1 every time. But
easily,
Ghostfaces, he's bad.
But easily the best post reveal performance of any Ghostface.
Oh yes.
Once the mask is off, it's
he
like
becomes
this
so
is fucking
unhinged.
crazy. I love it
so much.
And the thing is, like, whereas a lot of the characters kind of completely turn on a dime, like you mentioned, I kind of like how Stu is true to his Ghostface killer throughout the whole movie. Like, he's always kind of fucking weird and out there. And
yeah, he didn't really hide it too much that he might be the killer.
He just turns it up to 11 once you know he's the killer.
Yeah, and he has most of the most memorable lines in this whole franchise, but
yeah, I think probably Stu and Billy are the 2 best in the whole series at like before their Ghostface and after the reveal, they stay kind of the same character. They don't go like completely loopy and like abandon their characteristics and their personality.
Yeah.
Billy's still like kind of dark and sinister. Stu's just fucking going crazy. My mom and dad are gonna kill me.
I'm really bleeding a lot here, man.
I'm really losing a lot of blood here, man. Number 3, I have, of course, Jill. I absolutely love her.
Yeah.
Who is this? Emma. I always
Emma Roberts.
She's Emma Roberts. So yeah, good. She's great. Just a mastermind at work. Probably the most manipulative person in the entire franchise.
Because she played it so well. I didn't 100% know it was her at all.
No, she was one of the biggest surprise Ghostface reveals. if not the biggest.
Maybe the biggest, yeah.
Yeah, the way she used Charlie, her plan was brilliant. She almost got away with it. I loved her motivation of, Sydney, 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 getting all the attention.
Almost got away with it to the point where she almost killed Sydney. She thought she was dead. She had it. She was the next victim, the next person they were all going to focus on. Everybody was going to love Jill now. When she hears that Sydney's still alive in that hospital, that face, what did you just say? Face? Oh my God.
And what's great about that moment is she's talking to Dewey in the hospital. And as soon as he said, yeah, Sydney's in the other room, I think she's going to make it. Like, she has to play it cool because Dewey's looking right at her, but at the same time, she's freaking out. Yeah. And I think Emma Roberts plays that facial expression so well.
Perfectly.
And and Gail's actually the one to crack the code because Dewey tells Gail, and it's funny, you and Jill are sisters, you got stabbed in the same spot. She's like, how did she get stabbed?
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. Yeah. So I love that. But yeah, Jill's just a fucking mastermind. I loved her motivation. I like her Ghostface. I like literally beat the shit out of herself. Like, I don't know what's better, Liar, or Scream 4 as far as beating out. Or maybe Fight Club.
I'm kicking my ass. Do you mind?
And the only thing is, before the reveal is, she's not the most compelling character. She's kind of pretty tame as far as the pantheon of Scream characters. She's just like another survivor, like another person going through it.
Yeah.
I think I like Kirby more as a character. Like, I liked Kirby. Yeah.
I'm so glad they brought her back.
But this is an exception where Jill still makes my top 3, and it's mostly because of everything post-reveal. It's just fucking brilliant.
Yep. That's why she's so high on mine. Like, I like her. But before she's just like her dorky little cousin.
She's fucking psychotic, dude. She runs into a wall with a knife. She fucking throws herself through a glass table. I love how crazy she is.
I think they just gave Emma Roberts a fake knife and said, do whatever you think Jill would do.
So by process of elimination, you have Jill and Billy. I have Billy and Stu. Number 2, I'm going to put Billy.
Number 2, I have Jill. You may as well put Jill there.
We might as well fill them out then. There's no suspense here. It's the only problem with the count up list,
Yeah.
Stu. So that means you have Billy at number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we talked about Jill. So pretty much it's just talk about Billy, then we'll wrap this bitch up. And Billy is probably just the most well-rounded killer in the entire franchise.
He absolutely is.
Like,
and somebody who's as obsessed with like true crime and killing as I am. Yeah. Billy is, in my opinion, the most serial killer of all of them. Like, he's cool and collected. He tries to keep things under wraps. He's very intimidating. Just even the way the one moment that actually gets me the most and gives me the chills is when he stands up and licks the corn syrup off his finger.
Oh yeah.
Just that it's corn syrup or whatever he says.
Corn syrup, like they used in Carrie.
Yeah. Beautiful fucking moment. The dude killed it. What's the actor's name?
Who?
That played Billy
Skeet Ulrich.
Skeet Ulrich, yeah. I was so glad I was so glad that he was one of the killers, because they made it so obvious throughout the movie that he was probably a killer that you thought he probably wasn't.
Yeah.
They're obviously going to make him not a killer. And then at the end when he gets stabbed, you're like, oh, maybe he wasn't. Because this is the first movie. We didn't know that everybody gets stabbed, even the killers now. So when he got stabbed in the room, you're like, oh, Jesus, he's not the killer.
And they set it up beautifully with Randy's rules. One of them was you never have sex. And right after they have sex, Sydney and Billy gets stabbed. So you think he's the one that dies. Like, okay, he broke a rule. He died. That makes sense.
And then post-reveal, he is so just cold.
Oh, yeah.
His fucking demeanor turns immediately to, I am the one true god of this town. And he's it's amazing. He's so good.
Yeah, everything about Billy's fucking solid. He has the mix of the scariness, and he can also be fucking weird, He can be weird with Stu, but he's also much more sinister and creepy than Stu. He's, the brains of that operation. That's the only thing against Roman is I do think it hurts Billy's legacy a little bit having Roman be the brain, because it kind of takes away from Billy's accomplishments. A little bit.
I think it was more he just steered him in the right direction. I don't think he hand fed him what he should do or anything. I think he just kind of context clued his way into killing Sydney's mom. And
but I honestly don't. I would probably say as much as Stu, if not more than Stu. I don't think you can make a Scream Ghostface list and not have Billy like top 3. That seems blasphemous to me.
Yeah, for sure.
He's the original. And you know, sometimes people get held up on like the original's the best or just for nostalgia's sake, but no, like legitimately Billy's great.
Yes.
Billy and Stu are the best. It's probably the best combination they'll ever hit for Ghostface killers in the franchise.
I am not even the first movie in a lot of these franchises isn't even my favorite. Like, I'm not nostalgic for like. I don't think Pamela Voorhees is better than Jason Voorhees.
I will say that you are much better than me about like. You can say like newer movies you think are truly better than like original masterpieces, and sometimes I have a hard time with that.
Yeah, I think The Meg is so much better than Jaws.
Oh God damn it! And what an appropriate place to wrap.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let me see if I can zoom out a tiny bit. There we go. Can I zoom in? There we go. So real quick, I'll just leave that up for like 10, 15 seconds. That is going to be our, like I said, unofficial Ghostface ranking. I'm sure I'll eventually do a full video where I give detailed reasons why I have these spots, but we wanted to fly through this last part. Don't want to keep you guys till midnight. Yes, there's our unofficial rankings there. And I think that'll about do it. Thank you, Corey, for joining me. As always, I have a lot of fun with these live streams on both here on my channel and over on Culture Shocked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so guys, that's pretty much. Oh, wait, we have one more Jaws comment before we will do a Jaws episode this summer.
I'm down.
And Corey will realize it's great.
I'll do a full commentary for that movie for our patrons. 100%.
All right, guys. So I'm not going to do all the plugging that we normally do on Culture Shocked. Obviously, if you're watching this, you know my channel's Baker Reviews here on YouTube. I do movie reviews, rankings, tier lists, stuff like that. I will be putting in. I do plan on doing a video. I'm not sure if it'll be green screen like I normally do. It might be a faceless video. Want to get some of my thoughts on Spider-Man 2 out there. So that should be an interesting video. A bunch of horror movies have come out the last few months. November was a big month for movies. I'll get to reviewing some stuff. In the meantime, you can check all of us out, me, Corey, and our other, thank you as always, Mike. Our other co-host right here, Mike. You can check the 3 of us out, Culture Shock Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. And yeah, I think that's about it. Unless you had anything else you wanted to say.
Yeah, I got all my thoughts out, what I want to see happen, what I think would be cool, what I'd accept, and my list is, I'm fine with my list. Now, if we did a full character list, that would be way different. That'd be all over the place, but
if we did a full character list, I feel like we'd have to do like a tier list because there's too many to rank.
There's a lot, yeah. Randy would be god tier, of course.
Yeah,
obviously.
I think just Randy and Detective Bailey.
Those are the 2.
He was a feral young man.
That was what I was thinking.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for everyone who stuck around. We still got 3 in here. DK at 40 points. God damn, DK's crushing it. Yeah, thanks for everyone still in here. Thanks for anyone who stopped by, even for a minute, dropped a comment. Appreciate you guys so much. And guys, here's to hoping, crossing our fingers, that Scream 7 isn't a complete disaster.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Well, hey, since you said that, let's end it right there.
Like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?